He's a charmer, and he's a good worker. He is. Oh, really?
I never wanted. He was very well liked by all of us.
I will give him that. He's a good worker, and he's got good work ethic and stuff. It's just
I know, we
personal stuff.
really enjoyed working with him. He was aggressive and he was really what he did. So I enjoyed it. You know, when you guys first got together, they don't stand as much.
Oh, nobody.
Well, because of the problems you and Heather used to have.
Yeah, well, that went on through the entire marriage.
I know. So I couldn't stand it. So when he started with the city, I said, oh my God. But the more I spent time with him, the more we worked together. We had no choice. We worked together
Actually.
every day. But that's where I really liked him because he's a damn good worker. I know. How old is he?
Well, I just turned 57, so
Did you have breakfast?
he's
This is back up.
57. Yes, 59. So he'll be 60 this year. So he just turned 50.
Are we live on YouTube as well?
He's still chasing. I remember the gal, she was
I mean, I trust her. Okay.
anyway. She come up to me, she knew to be in and I said, "You're good." And I heard that they wanted to get then I found out. But she used to hurt my husband before she got divorced. They used to go with us to watch. I don't know if you we used to go. Right, 3 years. I mean, 3 months. 3 weeks. Ever since I come home. Hey,
You can keep it on.
anyway, good to see you.
Wait until it stops.
So I said, "You want me to go get your fingers?" And she said, "Where am I going?" See, I wasn't used to it. And I said, "Oh, you're right. We lost Matthew, so we don't play Matthew." But I used to go all around.
No, this is. I believe this is Brian's phone. Sure.
And I dated here and there.
Nice outfit.
Are you? Yeah, that would be
Video, that would have been right there. The curtains. I can see out there who can give you a heads up. If I happen to not see you and you need to come back there, just either come through that door or you can go around past the restrooms and you can get to that area, okay? Let me know when you want me to turn TVs on and start.
So we're live right now. Just as a go.
We'll have some help, of course, for that. So
Is it good looking to find that?
Because I have a backpack.
That's what I was thinking. Boy, I hate to.
Oh, that. I'll go talk to
If you haven't seen the chairs,
Now, when you take you said this is your sister. She's got that. Business? You take business? Last time I saw the trailer, off the tracks right by here. I've been a while.
Yeah, so that's.
I remember seeing the trailer.
Yeah. No, it's still does. He's so blessed.
Good, good. You got any radio?
Came home, yeah. He came home. Yeah. Yep. And then went to Michigan to her grad school. But then he came back.
So he doesn't work with you?
No,
Yeah.
he did.
Radio?
7 minutes on. Choosing. Yeah, starting now.
Frankie, right?
I'll probably move to the back because I'd rather have the people sit down.
It's understandable.
You don't have to move.
Oh, no, it's okay. I want to have more space for other people.
They're in. This is for me? Oh, okay. It's a ribbon microphone? Okay.
Dominic was at the house the other day. Yeah. I hadn't seen him in ages. Well, I usually don't have to be on oxygen. You got a better one than mine. That's from the VA. Yeah. I get him free. VA. Do you need any of this?
Thank you.
Real. You know, man is another joke. Maybe in 90 wasn't coming. He's going to go to the cemetery. She is so
I know. But I'm gonna get it so that Robert and I can make sure it has everything. Oh, so that's and then we'll get them over to you this weekend. It's like a free weekend for us. Okay? So we'll go see you this
Sandy's still alive. Of course, they think he's like, yeah, did you see Mike?
Yeah. It's actually next to
You know this guy?
yeah, keep two people who can't hear.
Thank you, sir. It's all right, go ahead. Sit down. Now we get back in the day. But anyway, we get together every second Wednesday. So we have that.
Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello.
So, yeah, they, fíjate, cuando me llevaron a mí para el resultante de bien, Matthew, el band. So it's every, what day of the month is, the second Wednesday of every month. 8:30. 8:30. You're gonna have to go. Okay.
When I used to take the bus, we did Castle. I need to shut it off. You need to shut it off. Yeah, because he's all stretched out.
For any of, it's gonna be, I probably will not talk much because I'm not gonna be able to get through it. I can't get through a hello. And thank you all for coming. Matthew loved each and every one of you. It was, my two boys are the best kids I ever could have had. Matthew was full of love, full of life. And if anyone ever said, poor Matthew, I would jump on their shit right there. Let me tell you, my son had a wonderful, wonderful life. And with each and every one of you in it at one point or another, he loved it. He loved you. He loved the challenge. And don't offer to bet him against anything because he was there on top of it. My voice isn't loud enough.
You're good.
He says we're good. Can you hear me back there? It's used to talking to a deaf man that my voice has carried me through. In the very beginning, when I was carrying my son, I knew something was wrong then. I had no movement. Nobody else knew it, but I did. When he decided to come into this world a month early, I held on for 44 years. I never, for 1 minute, ever wished that I had let go. Matthew had at least 26 surgeries. If I said 25, he would be correcting me this year. And one of them happened to be when I broke his leg. He slipped out of my arms, and instead of his feet going forward, his leg twisted. Spiral break, surgery at 1 o'clock in the morning. We missed bowling. He didn't like that. I had in my head as I was going to go through the stages, and I'm not sure I can get through all of them, but because I didn't write it down, this old lady tends to forget a few things.
Yeah.
But I know my son, Brian, is going to speak. And anyone willing to speak, I think Mark has a recording because he doesn't want the emotions to get the better of him either. So if you're ready, Brian, I appreciate each and every one of you coming. I miss my baby every day.
Is that microphone on?
I don't know. Your voice is louder than mine.
The mic is on. Good morning. Thank you everyone for coming over for this very, very special occasion for us. Very hard up. I get very, very emotional because Matthew was such a special child to me. I can remember when I first met Nora. I had already raised 2 normal children on my first marriage. And when I met Nora and I found out she had a handicapped son, I wasn't used to being around handicapped children. And I'll never forget, I used to tell Nora, this relationship isn't going nowhere. And Nora would always tell me, people change, Eddie, people change. And by golly, I did, because it didn't take maybe about a couple of years for me to realize just how special Matthew was. He was a fighter, always a fighter, habitual gambler. Everybody knew him. In the poker, at the casinos, all the poker players knew who Matthew was. And of course, he had a poker face. And sometimes he went big on it. He would win big. I've got a few pictures of him where he's got a lot of chips in front of him. But he loved to gamble. He loved to play baseball. I remember he participated in the Challenger League, which was
Little League, that was for handicapped children. And he loved to swing that bat. He was a lefty, just like me. And he loved to swing that bat. He had his own bat. And hit that ball off the tee. And then Brian, his brother, would push him all around the bases. And if it was up to Matthew on the weekends, he'd play Saturday and Sunday. So another thing he loved was bowling. He loved to bowl. Matthew was always very competitive, always. And he loved competition. And in bowling, he had a better average than a lot of your amateur bowlers.
Who thought they were good bowlers.
He, unfortunately, was unable to throw the ball. But we had a special ramp made for him. And surprisingly enough, he knew how to turn that ball and make it curve and make it hook. And all he did was just push it off a ramp. And I'll never forget one of the individuals that would happen that with a lot. And that would be Mr. Ron Adair. Where are you, Ron? There he is. I'll never forget that. I used to think that it was so special that Ron took a liking to Matthew. And that Ron would actually get the ball from the rack and put it up on his ramp. And then Matthew would sit there and turn it and turn it. I don't know how he figured it out, but he would turn it to where he knew exactly how it would curve. And he'd get visibly upset if he couldn't pick up a spare. But he loved it. He was very competitive. And loved to play board games. We used to play with some friends about every other Sunday. We used to play a game called Mexican Train, which is a domino game.
Yeah.
And he loved to play that. And one thing I never forgot about Matthew, the object of the game was to get rid of your tiles. And when Matthew got down to his last tile, and just to let everybody know that he was out, he slammed that damn tile on the table. And so that's how he let us know that he was out. But he loved competition. We would play poker. He used to like to play Texas Hold'em there at the house. We had a poker table, and he would play Texas Hold'em all the time.
It's a slot machine for losers. They're never going to win anything. The real challenge is playing poker.
We did have slot machines. He really didn't play them.
You didn't like them?
He didn't like them, but boy, did he love poker. And I'll never forget one time. It was kind of a standing deal. On Sundays, we'd go see Grandpa, my father-in-law. And on Sundays, and one particular Sunday, we left John, my father-in-law, Nora's dad, and he lived out on Valencia. And we were coming home, and we stopped at the red light on Valencia and Mission Road. And of course, we had Matthew in our handicap van, and we got rear-ended by a drunk driver. But fortunately, we didn't do much damage to our car. But the drunk driver, his car was severely damaged, and unfortunately, he was drunk, and I knew he had been drinking, and we could tell that he was drunk. But he insisted we call the cops. All I wanted to do was just take down his information so that he wouldn't get arrested for a DUI. But he insisted. Well, it didn't take long that a sheriff deputy went by and saw what happened. So he stopped by and checked us out. And unfortunately, they arrested the gentleman for DUI. And Matthew was still inside the van, sitting in his van. And the police officer went over to Matthew and he said, "Are you okay, son?" Matthew said, "Yeah, I'm fine." The cop asked him again. He says, "Are you sure you're okay?" Matthew would always have to cover his trach to talk. And he says, I'm fine. But if you want me to fake it, I will. Matthew had a
Police officers in the room, make sure you're.
Matthew had a hell of a sense of humor. He had one hell of a sense of humor. And another time, I'll never forget, and Rick Murrieta, where are you, Rick?
It's in the back.
Is he in the back over there? He used to love to play pool with Matthew, because Matthew years back bought a pool table for our game room. And he was good at it. And I'll never forget, Rick told him, he said, Matthew, I got to tell you, I'm very good at it. I'm very good at pool. Matthew told him, put your money where your mouth is at. Well, they played about 5 or 6 games. Matthew won most of the games. And I'll never forget, on the very last game, Rick told Matthew, Matthew, if you beat me again, I'm leaving. Matthew beat him. But Rick forgot what he had told him earlier. Matthew, on his wheelchair, went over to the door, opened the door, and goes, out. I don't know if Rick remembers this or not. But anyway, that's the way Matthew was. He was a voracious competitor. He liked competition. And for me, he wasn't my stepson. Him and Brian were my boys because they lost their father at a very young age. Matthew passed away, he's 44. And his father passed away at 44 also. So I don't know if Dad came to get him and take him with him. But it's just very difficult for me. I get very emotional because I was so close to Matthew. Matthew was so special to me. And to think at the very beginning, I felt so uncomfortable being around him. But like Nora would tell me, people change, honey. People change.
And a speech therapist at one time said, Matthew had a magnetic personality.
That he did.
And he did. I mean, he
I
brought
remember.
people to him I never thought would ever be close to him.
I remember I had a very difficult time trying to understand him because Matthew had a very difficult time talking. And Nora could understand every bit that Matthew said. Unfortunately, I only got bits and pieces. And I would make fun of him because I told him, I would always tell him he sounded like a duck. Because he'd go like this. Well, one time we went on a weekend, we went to Aravaca Lake. Nora had him in the water at the edge of the lake. And there he was sitting in the water. And I told Nora, I said, man, he sounds like a darn duck. You know what he did? Remember it? But anyway, but thanks again for coming. I appreciate it. Nora and I and Brian, we appreciate it very much. And God bless all of you. And thank you so much. Bye-bye.
So Mark is going to go ahead and do his. It's a recording. So.
Hello, everybody. I went to school with Matthew for quite some time. So I'm sad I'm already getting emotional. I've known the family for over 30 years. So you know, like I'll play this recording. It's just some thoughts I had of Matthew and some of the times we had. So if you'll bear with me just for 1 second, I'll try to get it going. Sorry for the delay. I've been asked it's Matthew Michael Cowley. We are here today to celebrate his life and his legacy. Matthew was my friend since the 4th grade. He was full of heart, kind. He had a kind heart. He had a beautiful spirit. He could make you love, laugh, at a drop of a hat. Anytime you were down, he'd find some way of cheering you up. No matter how sad you were, no matter how mad you were at him, he would always find a way to make you laugh. And forget about your bad day or whatever you were feeling that day. He would always find a way to make you smile. I remember this one time in high school, he was helping me with lunch, and I think I had a hamburger and French fries. Anyway, I had finished my hamburger. He was helping me with lunch, and we got down my French fries. And I remember him taking a bite of my French fries, and I'm like, Matthew, I looked over at him and I says, Matthew, please don't swallow that French fries. He shook his head like telling me, I won't. Anyway, the piece of French fry that he took in his mouth, he spit it back in his hand and tried to give it back to me. That piece of French fry was in his mouth. What the hell? And he just started laughing, and I started laughing. There was this other time that, I was doing the ladies, like typical high school, hormones. And one day I was talking to this very cute girl, and Matthew comes up behind me and gives me one of his famous wet willies. But, dude, he was always giving you wet willies. And I remember this all the time. I was having a bad day. It was my senior year in high school. I think Matthew was a junior. And anyway, it was towards the last day of school, and I had failed my math exam, and so I wasn't very happy. And so I wanted to get to the bus as soon as possible, and just forget about the day. I had a bad day. And Matthew, there was a ramp, going up to the bus, from the school to the bus, there was a ramp. I could tell Matthew was behind me, and he comes up behind me, sideswipes my chair, and because he sideswiped me, it made my chair run into ramp pole. And because he made me run into the ramp pole, I was mad at him, and so I likely gave him a leg punch, and we ended up getting suspended. And I remember Nora calling my mom, or my mom called Nora, and my mom wasn't too happy with me. It was the first day it was the first time ever that I got suspended or ever got in trouble with school. But anyway, my mom called Nora, and my mom was kind of, she was angry. But Nora said, and she just started laughing, and Matthew was laughing in the background, and Matthew was always, trying to one up me, and actually we were always trying to one up each other. But I think that's what made our friendship work is that we had a constant, friendship. We were always trying to make each other laugh, and we had a certain understanding. Like I said, I'm not supposed to live with regrets, but I guess the only regret I have is not getting to spend as much time with Matthew as I wanted. But I guess that's just part of life. I can't live with regrets. But I will say that I have always loved Matthew. I've always loved the family. And I'll never stop loving the family as long as I live. Matthew will always live in my heart, my memory, and my spirit. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, and rest in peace, buddy. We love you. Thank you.
And I will nobody.
You're okay. You're okay.
So I've actually got two things. This first is actually the obituary that some of you may have seen online. And then I'll get into what I actually wrote last night. Typical me, procrastinating until the very end. But Matthew left this life on February 8th, 2026 in Tucson, Arizona at the young age of 44. Matthew proved daily with determination, enthusiasm, and joy that his life was meant to be lived and not to be held down by the handicaps bestowed on his earthly body. He participated fiercely in Challenger Little League and bowled for many, many years. His dedication to sports extended to Tucson's Special Olympics, where he proudly took home medals of gold, silver, and bronze. Matthew's magnetic personality and infectious enthusiasm for life will be his immutable legacy. A passionate collector, Matthew had a deep love for comics and Funko Pop collectibles. He also found great joy in connecting with others through his YouTube channel, where he streamed content to a global audience of followers. Matthew cherished time spent with family and friends, whether playing Mexican Train, enjoying board games, or engaging in competitive Texas Hold'em at casinos across Arizona. He brought energy and excitement to every gathering. Matthew has been preceded in death by his father, William F. Cowley. He is survived by his superpowered mother, Nora K. Armenta, his father, Eduardo Eddie Armenta, his uncle and aunt, John and Carol Cates, step-siblings, Michelle and Eduardo Armenta, his brother, Brian Cowley, sister-in-law, Veronica Cowley, nephew, Caden Ott, nieces, Alexandria Welch, Ariel Welch, Adriana Peanut Cowley, and grandnephew, Milo J. Ott. Although we cannot fit them all, we would like to acknowledge special friends, Kathy Hall, Dana Klein, Mark Mendiles, Tony Emery, and the entire POPaWHEELIE YouTube fan base. I'm gonna ask something truly out of the ordinary. Trust me, it's okay to do this. Matthew has done it plenty of times, and he would expect and hope that you all participate in this. Just as a thank you to his YouTube friends and family, if we can turn the camera just a little bit toward the crowd, I'm gonna count to 3, and if you would all please, this is really gonna sound weird, but please, Matthew would enjoy it if you did it. To Matthew's YouTube family, I'm gonna count 3, and please flip off the camera. 1, 2, 3. Please flip off the camera. Thank you very much for doing that. All right, so this isn't written down, but I heard something a long time ago from Jim Valvano. He was a college basketball coach. That you have a very full day if you can laugh, think, and allow your emotions to bring you to tears. And if you could do that every day, 7 days a week, imagine the life that you would have. Yeah. So all these words that have been said today, it's pretty evident that we're making you laugh. And you've all been thinking of my brother all day. And I've heard the whimpers, and I've heard the sniffles. So you've all been crying at some point. Mm. You had a full day today. Be proud of your day today. Thank you for coming to Matthew's services and being here with him to remember him. So let me get to what I actually wrote. After knowing Matthew for 44 years, I'm sure you understand that I have 44 years of memories. And many days have many notable memories. Hopefully what I say today will give you a picture of the life that Matthew and his brother lived together. I'm sorry, what? His short brother, as he mentioned. He would probably say something like, keep this short, okay? The 44 years of trash talking never stopped. I believe we had more in common than most other brothers, none of which is more impressive than our superpowered mother, who never needed a cape for you to quickly see the gift Matthew and I have had every day. The praise that you get today would cause me to talk until tomorrow. We are also lucky to have had 2 fathers. Our fathers, whether they knew it or not, were tag team partners when it came to raising us, as we are equally thankful to both of them. The lessons and time spent both shaped us into the unique men that we have become. Another common love for music, specifically Michael Jackson. In my second grade, the sounds of Michael Jackson's Thriller filled the house for minutes on end. Not only is Thriller one of the best albums ever made, but also because I was trying to teach myself a self-choreographed rendition of the song for a talent show. But Matthew, he was secretly looking to steal the show with his own version of the moonwalk. Seeing it warmed everyone's heart. For those of you who have not seen it, you may be asking yourself, how does someone that walked no more than 100 steps in his life know how to moonwalk? I'll try and paint the picture. When the vibe is right and the music hits you a certain way, the first thing you want to do is apply the brakes to your wheelchair, unlock your seatbelt, and edge yourself to the front of your wheelchair so you know your feet are touching the ground. And when you know everyone is looking, grab the wheels on your chair and start rolling that thing back. Being ever so careful as to not allow your feet to leave the ground as they begin to slide in a manner that even the king of pop would drop his jaw for. Matthew loved many things in life, and one of them was dancing. When he could, he did. Life is a dance. You learn as you go. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. Lyrics to a song? Yes. Does it explain my brother's life in some sense? So many things in the course of Matthew's life were like new dance steps. How will he breathe? We learned the routine and we danced. Another dance, how will he eat? We learned the routine and we danced. How will he attend school? Another routine learned. How can he be involved? Bowling, Special Olympics, ball, and dance. Like a jukebox with seemingly unlimited credits, while Willie started singing, "Turn out the lights, the party's over." Over the last few days, some lyrics kept coming to me over and over again, and I couldn't shake it. I thought about it and why it was stuck in my head, and it just became something that I had to say here. Like I said, a song might have nothing to do with what's going on in your life at that time, but certain lines may just hit right. Garth Brooks was another thing in common for Matthew and I. So these lines truly do fit, especially for me. Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above. For a moment, all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. And lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. There was something I heard a long time ago, and I thought it was an ugly statement. I understand the reason why it was said, and it is a good reason. But I thought how awful to have an opportunity and let it slip by. The saying is, never meet your idols or your heroes. I have fallen asleep next to my hero. I have wrestled my hero. I have dumped my hero on his face. I have played baseball with my hero. I have beaten my hero at poker on his birthday. My hero made me vow to never do that again. My hero is my brother. And now my heroic brother is gone. One last song lyric. I'm gonna love you forever. Forever and ever, amen. If anybody else has anything to say, please.
Sure, you've all heard him. He's been so excited to come up here and say a couple words too. He's a little tired and cranky, and I know Matthew would have immediately taken him on his wheelchair and driven him around and had so much fun with him like he does with both my children. The entire family has always loved them so much and taken them in immediately and given so much love to them, no matter how spoiled rotten they are by all the gifts too. I really love that Brian had told me that he was so thankful that I was able to give them a grandson and a great-grandson in time for Matthew to have his fun with him and spend time with him. I'm glad I was able to as well. I'm glad I was able to give something as small or as large as you'd like to say as a child when they've given me everything. They are my only family, and I couldn't be more happy to be part of theirs and give them this one beautiful gift in time for Matthew to love him before he left. I didn't get to spend too much time with Matthew. Sadly, I wish I could have. He was so great with my children, and I'll always remember that. I'll always be grateful. Because he was a beautiful soul and helped teach my daughter, even to this day, that people can be different and beautiful in many different ways. And all that matters is the love that they give and the love that they have inside of them.
As he steals the mic. He stole the mic.
So Matthew's been a part of my life, my whole life, that I can remember anyway.
Thanks to him, I have a love for board games, Monopoly specifically. Thanks to him, I have a very big collection of Monopolies. When I would go over, we would either play Monopoly or Rummy. If I beat him, he would look at me and flip me off. If he beat me, I'd tell him that I'd kick his ass the next time we played. I remember growing up in Mount View, going on trips to Rocky Point with my Nina and Nino. I remember riding around in a golf cart with Matthew. With him as the driver. Scared me a little bit, but it was okay. I remember him running over my foot many times and laughing. And growing up with him in my life was one of the best things I could ask for. He taught me so much. He used to help me with math, even when I didn't want him to. If I said a number wrong, he would be very quick to correct me and tell me where my math was wrong. But he also taught me how not to be limited by anything, by abilities, by speaking out. Matthew was very, very important in my life, and I will miss him very much, just like all of us will. He may not be my blood brother, but he was brother to me in many ways. Growing up, we'd go on walks around the neighborhood. Well, he would ride around. When I got tired, he would let me get on his lap, and we'd drive back to the house. And then when we got there, he'd say, "Okay, you can walk now. Have a good one." I remember when my dad would take me over, he would constantly talk to my dad about his love for Cowboys and how the Cowboys sucked. And since then, I've been known as the Cowboys fan, even though I don't follow football. It will be very hard to go back to my Nina's, knowing that I can't walk in the door and go to his room and tell him hi, and him ask me where I've been. And I've told him I was working, like I always am. He would flip me off and then ask me for a game of Rummy. And we would sit there and we would play. Growing up, me and Matthew would watch lots of DVDs together. He had a whole collection. Mm-hmm. Every time he would say, which one do you want to watch? I would constantly pick Crossroads, which had Britney Spears in it, one of Matthew's. He loved her. Well, after about the 100th time of watching it, he finally told me he wasn't watching it anymore and he was selling the disc. But I don't think he did. I think he still had it. But that's one very good memory I have, is sitting there in the living room, playing board games, watching Crossroads, and Matthew flipping me off when I was too young to be able to flip him back. I still think to this day, maybe 32 years old, I think I've only flipped him off once, and that was in our last game of Rummy. He told me I sucked because I beat him by 100 points. You know, he was upset. He flipped me off, so I flipped him off back, and he gave me this shocking expression like, "Did you do that?" And I said, "I'm grown now." It took an extra 11 years, but I won't do it to anybody else in my Nina side of the family. I barely cussed around them, but I'm very grateful that he was in my life, and it will be sad for him not to be there. But I know he's here somewhere, probably looking at all of us.
Take care.
Hi, my name's Sam. My ex-husband went to school with Matthew and Brian, and so I got to have Matthew and Nora and Eddie in my life for a while now. Matthew showed me in a time when I had my special needs daughter, and I was very confused about what that meant for me in my life and what it meant for my daughter. Matthew and Nora were a pillar that showed me that wasn't what it had to be, that there was hope and joy. And Matthew didn't just give that to me. I've talked to other people in this room today, and Matthew gave that to so many of us. He showed us that happiness wasn't limited by our abilities physically. He showed us that he could love boobies. Okay, Matthew?
A lot.
Loved boobies. And he would love that I said that up here. But Matthew showed up, even when you thought that he wouldn't. Matthew encouraged me constantly, even after I wasn't a part of his daily orbit. He showed up to my graduations. He showed up with signing books when I was learning to sign for my daughter. He just thought of you and knew you and cared about you and showed up even when you didn't expect it. And I as I look at my 16-year-old daughter, who does all the things that she wasn't ever supposed to do, and Nora said to me when she was born, she's going to be the biggest blessing. You don't even know it yet. And she really is a super woman. And Matthew was so blessed to have her, just like we were blessed to have Matthew. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Sam.
Hi, my name is Vanessa. Matthew was my friend. I didn't know him very well, but we talked on Facebook and we talked about Comic-Con. I remember meeting him and his mom one time at the Tucson Mall, and we had the same interest in music. But yeah, I from what I could tell when I met Matthew, I thought he was a very nice man, wonderful person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've known Matthew since he was maybe 13, 14. I met him, where do you think? Bowling. When I was pregnant with my daughter and I was trying to find a godparents for her, Matthew told me that his mom and dad were the best. And so I said, okay, let's do it. And so Nora and Eddie are my daughter's godparents, and Matthew's been his brother his whole life, her whole life. And Matthew, as the one girl said, Matthew liked the boobies. I had another daughter that Matthew was in love with. He would write me constantly on Facebook. Do you think she likes me? Do you think she likes me? And of course she did. He gave her a ring and she still has it to this day because they were friends. But Matthew had the best support with his parents, and he was good to everybody. I don't know if anybody else knows, but Matthew had another love. He loved to watch Big Brother. And for 22 seasons, me and Matthew FaceTimed every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday night. I mean, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday night on Big Brother. And all he talked about is wanting to knock the shit out of the guys. And that's what he'd say. And So Matthew, he loved to watch Big Brother. He watched it every week, every time. And he was constantly on FaceTime with me. We didn't see each other a lot anymore, but we were constantly on Facebook, and he was constantly telling me. And so we'll all miss Matthew forever. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Jordan.
Hi, my name's Erica. I'm Matthew's cousin. I don't really do public speaking, but if there's any time that I'm going to face one of my fears, it's going to be with someone who showed me how to be brave and how to be strong. I'm going to try not to cry because he absolutely would have made fun of me. But one of my earliest memories with Matthew is at my mom's wedding, where he was the ring bearer and I was the flower girl. And much like other people had said, he would give people rides. So if you could only imagine a little me about this tall, 3 years old, rolling down the aisle, throwing flower petals willy-nilly while he's rolling down the aisle. And it was amazing. And that's something that my family tried to do with everything. We always incorporated him. Right now, if you went to my grandparents' home, you would see that their entire porch is flagstone. And in that flagstone, there is a ramp in every house on that property made out of flagstone, because those ramps were as permanent as he was. There was no way that we would have not been letting him have accessibility to our homes, because we loved him and he loved us, even if sometimes he didn't show it, because that was Matthew. And honestly, I'm blanking right now. There were so many things that I wanted to say, because he was an amazing, amazing person. Like, he knew that my favorite show is Scooby-Doo. So I have a Shaggy Funko Pop soda that he gave me, because Shaggy's my favorite character. And one of my other fondest memories is the time that my mom yelled at me because he helped sneak me into his room and we watched Howard the Duck. I think I was probably about 9. So, but that's what Matthew did. He just let people have fun. He was a very fun guy, and he loved everyone. And we all loved him. And thank you all for being here, because it just shows how loved he was. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
She's not the only one that has an issue with public speaking, so. How you doing? My name's Caden. Matthew's my uncle. Growing up as a kid, he was my best friend. I remember sitting down playing Mario on the N64 in his room. And I mean, I'm fairly certain he's probably the reason why I have a video game addiction. You know what I mean? We fed into it. It was a dual issue. I remember going to Rocky Point in the summers, and obviously it was difficult for him to be out in the sand. You can't really roll around, so he would have to be stationary. So I would remember going into the shallows and the tide pools and coming back, showing him the hermit crabs and little snails and sea urchins that I had found and things like that. And I remember us getting up in the morning and taking the quads to go down and get donuts and things like that, and come back and have breakfast together as we made little arts and crafts in the trailer at the table. Unfortunately, I was taken away from my family for 13 years. And that's a long time that I missed. You know what I mean? I can only imagine what he got to do during those 13 years, but I would no doubt assume that every moment of those 13 years were amazing. That he filled them with joy, with laughter, with friends, companionship. I regret the fact that since I've been home, you know, looking back on it, it's crazy when I stop and think about the fact that I've been back in Tucson for nearly a decade. That's absolutely insane. Jesus Christ, I'm almost 30. And when I stop and think about it, I realize that I had ample opportunities at any given point in time in which I could have stopped and said, I can stop by for 5 minutes. And I didn't. I didn't. To this day, I don't think I'm ever going to have an answer as to why I said it. But I know that he wouldn't want me to sit there and hold that over my head, because the times that I did stop by, those were magical. And they meant every moment. And that's what's most important. I have watched two of the most influential men in my life cry today. And I think that what sucks the most is the fact that this isn't the last time I'm going to have to do this, just like this isn't the last time that any of you are probably going to have to sit in a room like this again. But I think that what helps me feel a little bit better about it is the fact that it has to be good that it hurts this bad, because it means that it must have meant a fucking lot to me, right? So even though it fucking sucks and it's awful, I hate it. I hate every moment of it. I love it because it means that I love him. And I know that he loved everyone in this room too. And I'm very grateful for all of you for being here to show that love and support right back to him when he needed it most. And I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Every 5 minutes.
That's what
I appreciate that.
Good for you.
She's still working on
Yeah, junior high.
Junior high.
Just the other
You guys watching the feed?
Yeah.
I'm very tall now.
Yes, we are. My doctor said you can go
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you got?
Yes. He's my son.
Ready?
I mean, this is. I'm not sure. But we'd have to. I'd want to set up.
Right.
So anyway, my daughter-in-law is president to her nieces.
Yeah, you know what?
Yes, she's a therapist. She has her own house. Well, Aaron was good friends with Nathan.
So you guys can start breaking down, because I don't know if they have to do certain items.
Wow. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so when her niece Deborah she had been working and so yeah, so we knew her
But then we found out that she was Jen's cousin. Carmen was her aunt. And I said, hey, we're kind of related. All the way from South 6th Avenue, she ended up on the north side.
Yeah, I think this is also.
Oh, that's awesome.
What do you think?
Well, she had to access it.
Straight.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm happy because I'm so watching Ellie. My hair. I put them on the whatever keeps you quiet. Okay, I will. He's actually out there. I just told him that. We had 3 strokes.
Well, I don't know what you
5 generations now. It's positive.
Oh, okay.
That's in fact.
They really know what to say.
It's a good angle.
Oh, yeah, that's so good. Constantly